Recording. Okay. So I'm going to draw in axonometric a quarter circle wall here that starts at elevation 0, which is the same elevation as the ground, this concrete patio. So I'm basically excavating into the slope this far at elevation 0, and then I have a series of steps that take us up to elevation 3. And the top of the wall is going to be elevation 3, so it's all going to join together at the top elevation 3. So the first decision to make is whether we're drawing this axonometric from bottom up or top down. And that's entirely, you know, it's situational, let's say. And I've decided to start at 0, which is from what is known here, to the unknown, really, which is up, moving up from there. So I've set my drawing back into its original position at elevation 0. So this patio is lined up with its tracing. And so I'm going to proceed from there, working in red pencil so that we see the changes that happen to the axonometric that is there. As we said before, anything that's in the horizontal plane can be traced. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the bottom of this wall, which is going to come around like this. And I'm going to trace the bottom of the first step. And I guess I should give it an edge on this side too. So let's say that there's a wall that encloses it here. Let's say the wall comes all the way like this, okay? So all of this is at ground 0, even though we just said we can't extend it very well, but let's assume. So this is now, you see all of this has become ground 0 in addition to this, so it's sort of an extension of that. And so from there, we're going to start going vertical. So I'll do the verticals in pencil and then I'll put in the final in red. So I'm going to go up from this corner here of the wall, which is against the wall of the house, and over at this corner, and at this edge of the steps, and at the wall here, where the wall touches this wall. Now, a lot of this is going to be up at 3 feet, so this wall is going to be at 3 feet. Let me get the top corner of this wall in here, just so we can get that whole wall in first. So we can measure 3 feet up on any of these verticals, and that's only here, 3, 3, and 3 over here, 1, 2, 3. And so the top of the wall is parallel to the bottom of the wall that's down here, so I'm going to just get that in, and it's not very parallel. And the top of the wall is parallel to this, and so how are we going to get this low wall up there?
3 feet measurements.
We can take 3-foot measurements all along here and plot it, but more easily we can move the drawing up and trace it. Okay.
I remember that.
So that's why this
Yes.
drawing underneath has to be movable. So I'm just going to push it up to where those same points are going to touch the 3-foot high points. Right there. And I'm going to trace this wall up here. And I'll get the back side of it too, which will go all the way up to here. Now, I probably should have taken, this wall here is also 3 feet. Did I make that measurement? No. But it's easy to put in because it's along the right angle. But if it were drawn properly on my plan, I would have just gotten this piece of wall in. Instead, I'm going to just put it in using my let's give it a foot this. Make it parallel with the other side here. this one, and here. And I'll get this part of the wall in here. And I'll stop there because now the steps are going to be built within that space. So now I go back and bring my drawing back down to the bottom. And I start building my steps in between.
Can you draw the stair because those are horizontal? Can you draw the actual
Yes.
lines? of
I
the
can,
bottom?
yes, I will be tracing, so when you're looking at steps, the tread is horizontal, so
Right.
you can trace every tread, but the riser is
Sure.
not, so you have to draw the riser, which means that you're gonna trace one tread, draw the risers, move your plan, trace the next tread, so these steps are gonna basically go up, step up, because they're steps. So we're gonna do our first.
Wait, can I ask a question? That
Yes.
doesn't look like it's lined up with the base split at all
No,
right
no,
now.
no. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good observation. I was just focusing on that,
All right.
and it was smooth. Thank you very much for that. So to draw steps, I'm starting at the bottom, and so I'm going to go, these are 6 inches high. So from the first, to draw my first riser, I'm going to take 6 inches, which I can take on one end, not necessarily both ends, and that's why we're videotaping this. There's my first riser. 6 inches. I did a vertical, and I took 6 inches.
Okay.
And so now I can move my drawing up.
Or just project
I can
your
project.
horizontal.
Yes,
Wouldn't
I
it be
can
easier
project.
than moving the drawing?
If it's easier for you to project, then you can do it quickly. I mean,
Right.
like I can do it quickly now, but I don't expect any of you to be able to do that the first time you're doing your
Right.
axon. Because yes, I could go like this and draw my first tread and another vertical, and just do it, and it would be fine. But that's asking a lot of people who are not used to drawing this kind of drawing. So it's just as easy to then move this up.
What are you aligning?
I'm aligning the same
New point.
step, but 6 inches up.
Okay.
So now I'm tracing this tread. There. So now I have a riser and a tread. And I'm going to do the same thing over and over again. So from the new corner of the riser, I'm going to take 6 inches. And, you know, I'm not bothering to, because I put the wall in, I'm not bothering to draw it all the way to the end. I'm just drawing
Only
what I
have to see
want
one
to
side.
see. So I'm going to take 6 inches up.
I'm only doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put stairs in my design.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put
Sorry,
It's gonna be
you
a
have
rope
4
that
feet.
you line.
A nice.
You have 4 feet.
That might be harder to draw.
No, just make it all flat, take it all out.
I'm gonna build a wall. in
Can't
the
do
middle.
it.
Put a ladder up to the door.
Right.
Right, the ladder.
It's a ladder, but it's hidden behind the wall because of its axonometric.
You
can't see it,
It'll
but
be a
it's
trumped
there.
up drawing.
Well, you can also choose your axonometric so the steps don't happen in the axonometric.
Ah, right, that's right. That's right, we could just choose the flat end of the entire front
Yeah,
You can look
that's-
this way
That's
and
what my
forget the whole
design's gonna
slope.
be. Mine.
So you can all go, chicken!
And then you won't get your 10 points for your axonometric. Okay.
Unless you're very creative.
So you see how I'm doing this?
Mhm.
It becomes vertical.
Desert microclimate on the concrete.
Mini golf course down there.
Yeah.
That nice
There you
terrain.
go.
See how my stairs are taking shape?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coloring in the risers because that makes it really much more visible.
Getting confused. confuse either.
Well, yes, and sometimes using the two colors is very good.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good.
Because you can keep your guidelines in pencil and then use something else for your,
Would you like us to do it that way? And
you mean in
Does it
two
matter?
colors?
just to get in the hat, yeah.
Well, I recommend it.
Okay.
You can do it
But for
any way
next
you
week,
want.
we're not doing the design
No, no,
in
you're not
there.
doing the
Yeah.
design in there, but I'm
Right.
Just to
I'm
be
just
clear
sure.
about that.
Thank you, Barbara.
I'm
Thank you.
I'm gonna do one color next
Actually,
week.
Barbara, you are
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
guinea pig.
She's keeping us focused here.
Yes.
Keeping us sane.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so I have 4 steps in, 2 more to go, but I just want to show you that we do meet the top. As long as you're not making an error in these risers and compounding the error with every time, you're going to meet the top of this wall by the time you get up here. So.
Not a good time to use the ichrometer here.
Ichrometer.
That's when you just eyeball it.
Oh, no, I'll be able to tell the difference. So here's the moment of truth. I'm going up for my last one. And how close is it to 6 inches? Pretty darn close, okay? So, this is my last step. That is, should be right at the top. So I'm not lining up. Okay.
Wow.
So that's how you draw.
And that's from
Now-
upside down.
Now, one of the things that the axonometric will help you with, I made some design decisions here, and you weren't really aware of the design decisions. You know, I decided I wanted to have steps going up here, but I thought about how I wanted the sides of the steps to work. That is not very obvious, and when you're drawing, and with this project in particular, when you're doing your design, doing it only in plan, what you're not realizing is from the construction side, what sort of sides will your steps have? And it's very easy to just draw it in plan like I have it here and just assume that that's going to work without understanding that, oh, if I have a seat wall over here which is 1.5 feet, what's going to happen with this wall when it starts climbing up next to the stairs? Is it going to be a slope? Is it going to step up with the steps? Is it going to step up once? Those are the sorts of decisions that are not obvious when you're working in plan. And by doing any kind of 3D drawing, it's going to force you to make those decisions.
So this is just a slope, right?
Well, right now, what's happening is that I've flattened out my slope. My slope is actually going to be like that now.
Where's your
Sort of-
slope? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've excavated this.
Yes.
Cheers to it.
Okay, I've excavated this, and I'm basically filling up here because this is a 3-foot-high wall already. I don't particularly like that height of wall, but that's what I just drew.
Maybe brick?
Good for a
And
seat.
maybe even brick, and
That's not brick.
and so the grade back here is just below 3 feet. You know, the dirt that has been moved behind,
so
so
then
that
you're
I've
trying from
flattened
3 to
out that
4.
slope somewhat, and that's
What was the line you drew to show your slope flattened?
this line.
After she backfilled with the soil.
Yeah, and so over here also, this wall is still at 3 feet, which is, you know, this contour is the 3-foot contour. So what's happening is, you know, I'm a little above. You know, this slope is coming down below the wall behind it. So I'm probably going to be backfilling behind that wall too. So.